Good morning and welcome to our 177th weekly webcast. Now, if this is the first time you're joining us, welcome. If you've been with us before, welcome back. And so the way this call works is this is a 2-hour AMA, like you see on Reddit. AMA standing for Ask Me Anything. And within an hour of the call being done here, a little technical issue, but I'll get through it, don't worry. Within an hour of the call getting done here, my wonderful staff, what they do is they go to the description field of this video and they enter in all the questions so you can click and get quick access. And so I'm here to humbly help you in any way I possibly can take your career to the next level. You can ask me business questions, personal questions, career questions, anything you want to. I'm here for you always, except next week. So next week I'm actually on vacation, so there'll be no webcast next week. So we'll start the next webcast after this one today in 2 weeks. Now, before I get started, I had some questions here from Sam, who's asking about the Silver MBA degree program. Now, the Silver MBA program is on sale for a limited time for $499. And that's 50% off, and you can go to harounmba.com or harouneducation.com. It's all the same. And click here. There's a 30-day, 100% money-back guarantee. And what I've actually done with this is, in the very first lecture, I added a new feature. And in the first lecture, you'll see that there is a link. Yeah, it's in there somewhere, I promise you. There's a link where you can actually get Zoom time with me in a small group setting. And I'm doing a weekly call every single Thursday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Pacific time. Okay, that's my time. And to find out the link within Silver, this is the Silver MBA, the one that's on sale. Go to the first lecture and you'll click on the link there. And I post replays of all the previous webcasts as well for the Silver students. So again, that's every single every Thursday from 10 a.m. until 11 a.m. I've got a webcast that we use Zoom, so I can help my Silver students perfect their resume. I'll look at your LinkedIn profile. I'll help you with a business plan. I'll help you with an interview. I'll help you with anything. And it's over Zoom, and it's a small group. It's fun. All right, time for questions. Let's do this. Put a little bit of gel in my hair today. You usually don't do that, but yeah. Okay. So first up, I've got Sam, who wrote, what is your analysis of Star Engine? It's a pre-IPO investment sponsored by Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank. Yeah. So let me answer that from a generic perspective. So whenever you do research on a company you want to invest in, it's about to go public, I want you to read the S1 filing. Okay. Don't ever invest in any IPO unless you get an investment offering memorandum. And the same thing goes for any investment in general. If a friend comes up to you and says, hey, can you invest in my startup? Ask for an investment offering memorandum, because by law in many countries, all the major risks have to be disclosed by lawyers and investment bankers. I'm so sorry. God, it's early. By lawyers and investment bankers. Okay, so make sure you read these things. Now, the place to get these is you can always go to sec.gov. Okay, so by law, if you want to list on major markets, you have to actually file an S1 filing, what I just showed you. And the example I just showed you was for the Facebook IPO that occurred during the summer of 2012. Okay, which was a terrible IPO, actually. Morgan Stanley really messed it up. So what you do here is you enter in FB for Facebook. The new name of the company is Meta. Still not the nicest company. And then what you can do is you can do a search on the S1. Okay, and you'll find that you'll see a number of S1s here from May of 2016. And this is the final S1 here. That's why it says A for amended. Okay, you have the right to look at this. Anybody can. So this is the entire document I just showed you in my hand. Okay, so this is the entire prospectus, the IPO prospectus written by Morgan Stanley, who led the deal. Again, it was a botched deal, but the stock has done much better now since, of course. So check it out, please, if you get a chance. And last thing I want to say in that is this. It's hard for me to say this, and I say it with love in my heart. If a friend comes up to you and says, can you invest in my company? Not only do I want you to ask for an investment offering memorandum, which is usually smaller than this, but it should exist, but I want you to ask yourself this question. Don't say it out loud. Ask yourself this. Why am I so lucky to be given the opportunity to invest in this company? And one of the reasons might be because nobody else does. So be careful. And I don't want people to invest much in pre-IPO companies because they're very illiquid. Okay, for every Facebook IPO, there's gazillion social media companies that are private that go to zero. Yeah, and you become a stockholder too. You might be stuck in it for years, and you might buy what are called common shares instead of preferred shares. And the difference is this: if you invest in private companies and you invest in what are called common shares, which are the shares when you buy an IPO or you buy stocks in the market. If you buy common shares in a private company, you can get diluted big time, meaning the value of your stock might go down a lot because they create new shares. So what you want to do, if you have that luxury, is ask for what are called preferred shares. And as the name suggests, you get preferential treatment. Common shares are the lowest of the low. In fact, if a company goes bankrupt, here's who gets their money back first. It's always the debt holders, the bond holders. They have a senior claim on assets. Then the preferred shareholders. And then the lowest of the low in there are the common shareholders, hence the name common shares. Okay. Next up, Sam wrote, I'm reading an entire MBA in one book, and I'm excited to finish it. Thank you. Excellent. That's right. That's the companion book for my 7.5-hour course called An Entire MBA in One Course. Yeah. Okay. And don't anybody buy that book on Amazon, please. You get it free in the course anyway. Yeah, thanks. All right, moving on to Majed, who wrote here, as always, please read this and the next message together. Sure. Bonjour, Chris. Bonjour, je veux faire la grasse matinée ce matin. Okay. That means I wanted to sleep in, but I couldn't. I hope your day's off to a terrific start. Likewise, buddy. Statistics indicates that most money managers underperform the market over time. So why bother with research when we could just put our money in an index fund or an exchange-traded fund with a low management fee? That is a superb question. So if you go to my website and you do a search on mutual funds, you'll see I've done a ton of videos on why mutual funds are an absolute scam. Okay, so all you got to do is go to the top here and type up mutual funds. Okay, and I talk a lot about ETF here. I've tons of questions about this over the years. And so I've answered more than 10,000 questions live here, and they're all indexed here as well. If you want to do a search and to find out where I cover that stuff in my program, my courses, just click this tab here. So the problem with mutual funds is they have very high fees. They have very high fees, and they underperformed ETFs. Now, ETFs are a collection of stocks that usually represent an index or another asset class. For example, the SPY is an ETF for the S&P 500. The Qs, which is 4Qs, represents the tech stocks in the NASDAQ. And when you invest in these index funds, the fees are usually 0.5% or way less, okay, usually. Versus if you invest in a mutual fund, the fees can be 5%, including hidden fees, and the mutual funds underperform the indexes. Why do the mutual funds underperform indexes? Because emotions take over when a portfolio manager is underperforming and she or he tries to chase performance into year end. It gets worse though. In most countries, governments will reward you for being patient and a long-term investor because governments don't like volatility. As a result, if you own something and you sell it after 1 year and you make money, you pay less profits than if you own something and sold it in less than 1 year. Okay? If you sold something in less than 1 year, that's called short-term capital gains. Okay, and you pay more taxes. Mutual fund managers buy and sell all year long, trying to chase performance, especially at year end, which gives you a massive tax burden as well that you only find out about when you file taxes. Two more things I want to say on ETFs because I think you can save a lot of money doing this, and then I'll talk about individual stock research. So what I want you to do is let's go together to finance.yahoo.com. Okay, don't ever pay for any investment research out there on the web, and don't take anyone's advice on what to buy. I'll never tell you what to buy. I humbly teach you how to fish instead of giving you a fish. But if we type here SPY, there's two things I want to look at. Okay, so the first thing I want to look at is volume. Then the second thing is I want to look at the price or the fee to invest in that ETF. So the first thing we look at, and this represents 500 stocks that make up the U.S. economy. The first thing we look at is the average volume. Now, the average volume is over 100 million shares times $440. So yes, you can get in and out quickly if you need your money. So it's very liquid. The next thing we look at is the profile here. Again, this is all free. And you look at the expense ratio. Okay, so remember before I said you want it to be under 0.5%. Well, this is pretty cheap. This is a good deal. So after you do your research. So for every $100 you invest in this ETF, you're going to pay 9 pennies every year in fees, which is not bad. You can also look at the holdings here to see what's in this ETF. And there are 12 categories here, or GICS codes as they call them, within the S&P 500. The S&P 500 represents the United States economy, which is very tech heavy. And you can see the largest holdings here: Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Meta, etc. Okay. Now, in terms of another website for the best ETF screeners on the world, is a free website called ETF Database. That's etfdb.com. And what you can do here is you have a menu of different types of ETFs you can invest in. Okay. And you can even research it by country as well. Okay, and sector, etc., by clicking the ETF screener down here, or ETFs by geography. So say you want to invest in Brazil, and you don't want to buy individual stocks, and you want to get in and out quickly if need be. You click here on beautiful Brazil. I went there. I stood by the statue of Jesus in Rio, which was beautiful. So you click here EWZ, or EWZ as we say in Canada. And what you can do is, if you click this, you can learn more about this and invest in companies that are in Brazil. Now, you can do this for every country as well. So if we type here, and I'll wrap this one up quickly, I promise you. If we type here EWZ, we see here it's liquid, 27 million shares per day, times $36 we can get in and out. The fees are going to be higher because it's not traded as much. Now, the fees aren't shown here, but it's closer to 0.5%. You can also go to holdings and see what the holdings are. This data is not updating. It usually does. Type in EWC, and this is for Canada. So if you want to invest in Canada, you can do so as well. Again, check out the volume, the fees, as well as the holdings. Now, in terms of doing your own research, what you can do is, I've got this product that I created for my MBA students that will help you do investment research on any company. It's awesome. So why don't we download it together? And this is part of the MBA program, but it's a massive template, and I think you'll enjoy it. So what I want you to do is I want you to go with me to Haroun, HarounEducation.com/ all lowercase EMS 4-2. Okay, and this will really help you to do research on stocks so that you become an investor, not a tourist. You don't just rent them. So what you can do is you download this file. Don't click it and run it within Excel or within the browser. And then you open it up, and I ask you about 100 questions that will help you screen and understand. Look at me buying time. To help you screen and understand if you should invest in a stock or not. Give me 1 second. So I think it's in my download file. So the download key is Control-Shift-K. Here it is. Here. Okay, good. Okay, so it's a massive spreadsheet, and basically there are 3 different sections here. One section is qualitative research, the other is quantitative, and the other one is financial analysis. And so you can step through all of this if you want to, and I ask you tons of questions, and on every single tab there is a video you can click on to learn much more about that topic, how to navigate that tab, as well as how to do investment research. And all it does, it goes over here and you can click on play. Okay, so I'll mute this here, but I walk through it all. It's in 4K as well if you change the settings. Yeah. And then what I also provide you with here is an investment research dashboard. Okay, so based on the data you enter in, right, and this is all linked, many links in here as well, and it's a small spreadsheet. Based on the data you enter in, it will show you many different charts so we understand the macro and micro side of investing in a company. Then I have a one-pager created for you automatically. Okay, you hit print and it's all fed into here in real time. Okay. Or you can print a detailed report as well, which is a 150-page research report on the company. And I want you to do your own research always, please. And this, by the way, this is available to my MBA students. I provide you with just a ton of arrows in your quiver or tools in your toolbox. But I want you to always do your own research, please, and don't rely on me or anybody on TV that speaks gooder than me, which is basically everybody. Okay. Otherwise, if you don't do your own research and you don't do your own investment write-ups, then you'll commit the most criminal sin in investing, which is you'll sell stocks when they go down. And Warren Buffett once said, the New York Stock Exchange is the only store in the world where consumers sell stuff when it goes on sale. Think about that. Selling something because it's cheaper. Doesn't make any sense, right? But if you do the research and do those one-page reports or the 150-page reports, your call, using my many templates I provide you in my MBA program, then what will happen is this. You won't care as much about volatility because you'll have a target price, and I teach you how to financial model and value companies in that template. And all you'll say to yourself is this: I don't know the path of this stock, but I know the destination. And let's say you buy a stock and it's going okay. It's going up a little bit. And then 2 years later, the stock goes down a bunch. Then I want you to go back to research report you wrote, the 1-pager or the 150-pager. And I want you to ask yourself, if I had known about this new risk, which is causing the stock to go down today, 2 years later, if I had known about this risk when I first made this write-up, would I have still bought the stock? And if the answer is no, don't be emotional, sell it. If the answer is yes, buy more, if it's not a full position. Yeah. Okay. And I believe my students and anybody can outperform these money managers as well if you do enough research yourself. The trick is don't get biased and don't listen to people on TV tell you what to buy and sell, because I find that mutual fund managers and CEOs of companies, when they're interviewed on television, I find that they're honest, a lot of them, right? But it can be misleading because they're the best salespeople in the world. So always do your research first. Yeah, I'm trying to finish one of these every day because we are 60% water. I don't know if I like my new haircut here. I got messed up this morning. That's okay. All right. Next up, Andre. Hey, Andre. Andre is my MBA class. How are you? Andre wrote, greetings from Dallas, Texas. Hope all is well with you. Likewise. And one of my students that graduated from my MBA program last year sent me this in the mail. Don't mess with Texas. Yeah. I love Texas taxes. Please bring them here to California. Please. Okay. So Andre from Texas wrote, what are your thoughts on the House of Lies series on Showtime about business consulting with John Chiodo? Yeah. It's a funny show. It's not really realistic. However, just like when you watch the television show Billions, they talk the talk, right? They use buzzwords from the sector, right? And so basically that's what Don does in that television show as well. It's not really realistic. It's funny, but they talk about some frameworks that you can actually use in the real world. Now, in my MBA program, I provide you with tons of frameworks. You can analyze any business situation and ace any interview. And the great thing about investment frameworks and consulting frameworks is when you're being interviewed, okay, or you're talking to a customer, if they ask you a question that's going to take you time to think about it, kind of like me rambling on right here, then you can use a crutch to fall back on. For example, in the consulting sector, people use what's called a SWOT analysis, SWOT, which stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And so when you're in an interview, if somebody asks you a challenging question, you can take a step back by answering with this. That's a great question. Can I have the job now? No. That's a great question. Let me analyze this using the SWOT analysis. I'll kick it off with the strengths. The strengths of the companies are blah, blah, blah. Moving on to, and these are transition words, moving on to and so. Buys you time. Moving on to the opportunities, or the weaknesses, SW. The weaknesses of the company are this. In terms of the opportunities of the company are this. And lastly, the threats. The biggest threats I see are blah, 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 blah. And so what I just did there was I gave you one framework that consulting firms use. I used to work for Accenture years ago in the consulting sector. I use a lot of frameworks. And by using frameworks like that, you're buying time while making it look like you have a methodical way of thinking about how to answer questions. All right. Next up, I got Yasin, who wrote, hi, Chris. Hey, man. What are the best ways to structure a partnership with a U.S. brand to bring their product here to the United Kingdom, which they're open to, whilst maintaining ownership? Yeah. Whew, it's tough. It's usually a revenue share or a license fee or a franchise fee. Okay, so I think the best thing to do is to get a lawyer to take care of this for you. And it's cheap to hire a lawyer. That's right. If you go to LegalZoom. Now, I'm not sponsored by anybody. I never will be. I want to stay true and pure to my students. But what you can do is this, and this works in different countries, and I'll show you how. Okay. So what you do, and do this also if you're going to start a company or if you want to get health insurance, life insurance, set up a trust for your kids, etc. You go to LegalZoom.com, okay? And it's like $30 per half-hour call with a lawyer, 6-month contract. And what you can do is there's any type of attorney you can talk to here. I've talked to international attorneys here as well. Now, if you can't get LegalZoom in your country, then I want you to do a search for what is the United Kingdom version of LegalZoom, for example. Yeah, it works out really, really well. All right, let me go back here to Wirecasts. Hey. All right. All right. All right. Next up, I've got Mike who wrote, "Hi, Chris. Hey, man. Do you foresee the U.S. dollar being replaced as a world's reserve currency anytime soon? And if so, with what? Absolutely not. So the United States dollar, it's a flight to quality. And so when economic times are tough or there's geopolitical uncertainty, people tend to gravitate towards the U.S. dollar. It happened in '08. It's happening now as well. And what's tragic about what's happening in Europe with the Ukraine, it's awful. I wish Putin just went the hell away. The tragic thing is that it's shaking investor confidence in Europe. And so it's causing a lot of Europeans to think about investing in U.S. dollars as well. So it's a flight to quality, kind of like during World War II. America was kind of insulated geographically. America is helping. They'll continue to help the Ukraine. And I'm proud to be in this country because of the news I saw this morning about Joe Biden deciding to take 100,000 refugees from Ukraine to the United States. Yeah. But I think given the geographic location of the United States and the fact that it's the most capitalist country in the world, I think the U.S. dollar for the foreseeable future will be the world's reserve currency. I really do. Yeah. The U.S. government is actually the very last company. And look, we have problems here in America too, but I'll call a spade a spade. The U.S. government is the last company, so to speak, on the planet that would ever go bankrupt. And so it's all relative. And when you analyze companies and you work on IPOs and you come up with valuation metrics, we always look at the US dollar, which is the risk-free rate, when discounting future cash flows. Some people use LIBOR, which stands for London Interbank Offer Rate. I think in the future, more people use the US dollar than LIBOR, though. Yeah. Okay, next up, Ali, in my MBA program. How are you? Ali wrote, "Hi, Chris. I was watching your web class number 45, where you used a drone in class outside in your backyard." That's right. That was my 45th vlog, and we're on 1,300 days now. Yeah, I used it in my backyard. Yeah, and my son Andrew, and I kept it real. My son actually lost the drone up in space there, but eventually we found it. Yeah. You wrote, "Damn, that was dope and groovy, LOL. Just thought I'd mention that. It was dope. Thank you. It was fun. It was fun. Yeah. I think eventually drones are going to be against the law." And when I went to the Czech Republic to record a lot of my trailers for my videos and courses, all that stuff, when we used drones there on the beautiful bridges, what happened was the drones stopped working. And they stopped working in certain locations because if you're close to a public place or government buildings, there's software in the drones that won't allow them to run. Of course, you can hack it, but I think it's only a matter of time until it's made illegal. And there are baseball stadiums that I know of specifically in the United States that have super drones in hiding. And a lot of people know about this. And basically, they're big drones in case there's like a sum of all fears type event. I don't know if you read that Tom Clancy book. So if somebody were to bring a drone with explosives into a public place, these super drones that a lot of stadiums have will be able to fly it quickly. They got mini choppers, throw a Spider-Man type web around the drone and take it out to the Pacific quickly. I really do believe that drones will be illegal at some point. Yeah. So enjoy using them while you can. All right, next up, Kevin wrote, "Good morning from Lakeland, Florida." Good morning to you too as well. I'm going to Florida for vacation next week. Again, there's no webcast next week. Yeah, my parents live in Lauderdale. I love it there. Yeah. I thought about moving to Florida, actually. So Tony Robbins, who also used to live here in California, he moved to Florida for tax reasons. It's something I'm thinking about when my kids eventually finish public school. They're older than this. I'm thinking about it. The taxes are just ridiculous here. Yeah. Okay. Next up, Sam wrote, textbook companies like McGraw-Hill are a monopoly. Yeah. Do you think that open source / public domain textbooks will become the norm and lower education costs, or that textbook monopoly will keep its hold? No, textbooks are in secular decline. Like, I don't think you need a textbook anymore when you can just watch videos, learn online, or watch a teacher teach you in class. Like, why do I have to go and relearn it if I'm being taught? We don't have the time or luxury for that. And I pride myself on teaching with edutainment, meaning I use a lot of props and whatnot so that people after class, they remember the stuff. They're like, oh my God, that was kind of fun. I remembered it. Chris is an idiot. I laughed at him, not with him. For example, I'm teaching programming soon, you guys will see. And I'm teaching you about sub procedures with the sub. You open it up and you have functions inside, etc. I'm also teaching as part of my programming course. I was a coder for years. I'm a bithead. I'm a tech. I'm a nerd. But I'm teaching you using props. And if you meet me in real life, you'll see I have very, very tiny hands. Okay, no. But when you program, and this is part of the programming courses I'm coming out with soon, when you program, you think like a computer. So if I want to turn this eraser green, I would do this. Pencil.eraser.color equals green. And so that's why I have a lot of these props here. I've got a 3D printer as well. I'm going to teach it in such a way that it's fun, engaging. And the first way I'm going to be doing it as a way to teach programming is we're going to start right here with Excel. Okay, so let me actually go and open it up. Open research. Here I've got, yeah, this is it here. Okay, I'm on the 39th version of this spreadsheet here. But what I'm going to do, and I'm going to disable macros, what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you all how to think like a programmer and a computer with Visual Basic for applications. Okay, so the beautiful thing about Excel is you can actually create code and then manipulate it by just recording, right? It's called recording a macro. And then you can manipulate with this. But I hope you guys enjoy this. This is the hardest thing I've ever worked on as well. It's a lot of fun. You'll love it. And using code first, learning code within Excel makes a lot of sense. Let me show you something really quickly you guys can all do right now. So what I'm going to do is open a new document. You'll see up here I have a developer tab. Okay, so if you open Excel, what you can do is you right-click here if you're using Windows, okay, and you add the developer ribbon. Or you go up here to File Preferences, and you can add the developer ribbon. Then once you do, you can actually insert code and do macros. So let me show you really quickly how to learn about coding using Excel. Okay, this will be a quick demonstration. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to record a macro. And as I record it here, code is going to be created in the background for us that we can change. And this is fun. So I'm recording it, and I'll click on this cell here, and I'll write Chris bold. Okay, then I'll go here and I'll go and click bold. Okay, good. Now let's go look at the code together and change the code around. So I'm going to click here on macros. Okay, and then what I can do is I can actually look at this code here we created together. Here it is. I selected a cell. Then remember I told you big dot smaller equals whatever. I made that Chris bold, and the font is true, meaning bold. So let's run that code with a button right now, which is fun. So you insert a button, okay? And I'll just insert any button. I can rename it if I want to. I don't want to. Then you right-click it, and you assign a macro to it. So I'll assign this macro. And let me delete this, and we're going to run this macro by clicking this button. So watch what happens here when I click this. Chris bold. It's cool. So let's now go into the code and let's change that around a little bit right here. I lost a couple of viewers, so I'll wrap this up quickly. So let's do it again. And let's write here, Chris not bold, and selection font bold. I'll make it false, okay? And this is how you learn coding. The easiest way to start is right here. So let me get rid of this, and it will write Chris not bold. not in bold. There you go. So it's a great way to learn programming first. So we'll start with that, then we'll move on to Python and other applications as well, JavaScript. And I've been coding forever. Back in the 90s, I spent most of the decade programming as well, working in financial services at Accenture. Yeah. Now you know why I'm a nerd. And that will be added, all that stuff I just showed you, the program stuff will be added to my MBA program. If you're in my MBA program, there's 5 major sections of it: entrepreneurship, sales, marketing, communication, economics management, strategy, personal growth, and finance and accounting. Okay, and we've got about 500 hours of content now, including live Q&A. And I'm adding a 6th module as well, which is technology. All right. All right, next up, the Berlin 186, who is one of my MBA students from San Bernardino, California, where Ken Griffey Jr. played the minors, wrote, good morning, everyone. Hopefully everyone is doing super awesome. Let's get it. Let's go. I love your positive attitude. Next up, I got Zoralina, who's in my Silver MBA program. I see her every week at 10 a.m. We do Zoom calls here in Silver. And she wrote, good morning from Canada, Chris. You're the best teacher. No, thank you for being here. And Zoralina originally is from France. She has a wonderful French accent. She speaks much gooder than I do. She sounds very sophisticated. And she lives in Ontario, Canada. And she has a crepe business that she's looking to potentially sell that I'm working with her on. And she has 2 cats named Mumu and Momo, I think, that you bring on the webcast sometimes. Yeah, the zoo. Good to see you. Okay, Sam wrote, I'm halfway done reading an MBA in one book. I'm excited to finish it. Thank you. Thank you. And again, that book is free if you take an entire MBA in one course. And you get all my books for free on my real MBA program here on my website. Yeah. So don't buy any of my books. Okay. Great to see you. All right, next up, Marios wrote, hello, Chris. Good morning to you. Have a great day. Same with you. Likewise. Thank you. Manas, my wonderful student from India, who's written a number of books, including one called Bonds Before Business, using my book template. He has a couple courses on Udemy as well. Wrote, good morning, my dear mentor. Hope all is well. Good to see you. Now, I want to help you all do something that's going to take a little bit of work, but I guarantee you it will help you get jobs, help you get into universities, help you get informational meetings, help you get customers. It's really simple and it's free. Here's how we do it. Watch this. Okay, and this is what Manas has done as well. So everybody should write a book. It's really easy to do. All you have to do is figure out where Safari is, Chris. All you have to do is go to my website, harounventures.com/writebook, okay? And you can download a template here that's 6 inches by 9 inches. It's the size of this book of mine I published. And there's 1 page of instructions on the front here. I don't ask for your email or anything. And after you read this 1 page, you can publish easily for free on Amazon Kindle, Amazon Print, as well as ACX Audible. I just lost a lot of viewers, so I'm going to go back now to here. The good thing about doing this is I get real-time feedback. Then when you go to your informational meetings, your interviews, etc., I want you to give them your book. Okay, who does that? You got to ask yourself, how badly do you want that job or that customer? All right. All right. And so Manas wrote, this week, I'll keep my questions limited and I'll absorb more. Sure, whatever you want. I'm here for you always. You wrote, my mentor, call me Chris, please. What about Russia and the ruble trading in Europe? Yeah. So what Russia did a couple Mondays ago is they more than doubled interest rates from 9.5% to 20% to stop a run on the bank and whatnot and get people to want to invest in rubles. It was temporary only, though. In terms of the future of the ruble in Europe, there is a future for it because I think eventually, companies are still going to buy Russian gas and oil. They have to for now. And so whenever you buy gas or oil or any commodity from a country, you have to convert into their currency first, then you buy their commodities. It's just the way it works. So whenever commodities are going up a lot or the global economy is doing well, it's because, and commodities go up, what happens is the currency in those countries goes up too. Let me explain what that means. So if China decides to quadruple industrial production, which would be amazing, right? If they decide to do that, then in order for China to build many buildings, highways, etc., they need natural resources. If they need oil from Canada or Brazil or Australia. Those are three natural resource-rich economies. The Chinese government, first of all, has to convert their currency, the yuan or renminbi, into Canadian dollars, for example, or Australian dollars, or Brazilian real. Then after they do that, they buy commodities from companies in that country. And so what just happened there, what I explained, was an increase in demand for those three currencies. Okay, the Brazilian real, the Canadian dollar, as well as the Australian dollar. So when commodities in general, all commodities when they go up because the economies globally are doing well, it helps countries that are natural resource rich. Yeah. Okay. And then Manas wrote, okay, that's a follow-up, and I think I answered that question too. Thanks. If not, let me know, please. All right, Johannan wrote, hi, Chris. Hey, man. How can we make a difference in the world in the field of finance than only making lots of money? Dude, I know exactly where you're coming from. I remember when I worked on Wall Street, something was kind of missing for me. I kind of felt that I wasn't really building anything. I was kind of just transacting to make money, and something was missing. And that's why on the side, I've always done programming as well to create something physical. If you go to Wall Street just to make money, and that's all you care about, you're never going to be happy because you'll always want more. I like to visualize things. I like to teach with props and whatnot and create something. I like to build buildings. I own buildings, houses, and all that stuff. I like to invest in humbly. Something was missing for me. So if you don't thoroughly enjoy finance, don't do it, please. And before you try to get a job in any industry, before asking yourself, how do I get that job? I want you to first ask yourself, why? Why do I want that job? And if it's just to make money, then you'll never be happy. You have to be passionate about it. You have to enjoy it. There are so many depressed people on Wall Street, and I used to be one of them. Because every year you get your bonus and you compare yourself to the dude that made more than you. That's an awful way to live. Okay. Next up, and that's why I love teaching finance now as well. I kind of feel like I'm helping people understand based on my real life practical experience or humble experience, whatever. It's more fun that way because I feel like I'm helping people. And if you do something where you're helping people or you think you're helping people career-wise, you'll have this incredible euphoric feeling every day that you're helping somebody. Yeah. All right. Next up, Manas wrote, thank you for everything, my mentor. Chris, please. God bless you all forever and ever. God bless you more, brother. And then you wrote, see you forever and ever, and really humbled to be a part of the Haroun Education Ventures family. See you. Thank you for those emojis. Lots of love back to you as well. Okay. Next up, Ali, who's in my MBA program, wrote, how did you build your hedge fund? What did you enjoy the most during that time? What was your lowest point as a hedge fund manager? Yeah. So the way that I built my hedge fund was I networked like crazy, and I spoke to people all over the world. And I did informational meetings. And the way I did it, it's actually easier than you think to get a job or to raise money or to start a company, or to get customers, if you remember one simple secret. Business is about relationships first and product knowledge second. Your network is your net worth. And so my many mistakes raising money and whatever, doing stuff in business, I document in this book for you. Okay, it's about how to get anything you want in your life by simply networking. Okay, hold on a second. So if you go to my website here, okay, if you go to my website, you can scroll down to get this book here for free, okay, and there was a typo in it that Christina, the head of my alumni network at Haroun Education Ventures, found the other day. Thank you, Christina. You can get this for free. It's 200 pages. There's a couple hours of YouTube videos as well, and I promise you this stuff works. In that book, it's free. It'll help you to get a job, network better, to get where you want in business and in life. And a big rookie mistake in business, sorry for making everyone dizzy today with all these screen changes. A big rookie mistake in business is people show up to a meeting for the first time meeting somebody and they jump right into business. It's not how the world works. You have to bond before business. which is the title of Manas's book, one of my wonderful students from India who's on the call today. So how do you bond with somebody? Well, you talk about current world events. If it's a Friday, you say, do you have weekend plans? If it's a Monday, how was your weekend? Or you go to their Twitter profile to see who they follow. This is key. Because people on Twitter, they usually follow people that inspire them or people are in an industry that they enjoy. So for example, if you go to my Twitter profile, you'll see that I love the smell of baseball, so I don't know why. You'll see that I follow a lot of Toronto Blue Jays, right? A baseball team. So if you're in a meeting with me, we could talk about baseball. You'll know what to talk about. And sports is great boardroom talk. Whenever I meet somebody from the United States, whatever city they're from, I'll talk about sports in that city, right? And you can do it globally as well. So you can learn a lot about somebody by going to their Twitter profile too, they follow. You can also learn a lot about somebody by going to their LinkedIn profile and looking at what groups or companies or entrepreneurs they follow as well. And you can bring that up in the meeting as well. Just be careful about it. You don't want to sit down with somebody and say, I was stalking you on Twitter and I see that you like the Toronto Blue Jays. Yeah. Make it natural. Okay. And what happened with me, and so I was so frustrated many years ago, I couldn't get a job. And I worked hard and I thought, I don't get it. Why can I not get jobs after interviews? And I went to an interview, and I promise you what I'm about to tell you is going to help you. I went to an interview, and I was just so frustrated, man. I remember talking to Christine years ago before we got married. I went to an interview, and I didn't care. I just told myself before the interview, you know what, Chris? F it. I don't care if I get this job. I'm just going to be me. I'm not going to act. And I was just myself. And we talked about entertainment, the Oscars at the time, yada, yada. And I got that job. I couldn't believe it. Because business is about bonding with people. Business is about people. So just be you. You do you. And before a presentation or an interview, I want you to tell yourself, I don't care if I get it. And I'm not telling you to be rude or disingenuous at all. I'm saying it with love my heart. I'm taking pressure off you. Because your friends and family members love you for being you. So you do you. As Dr. Seuss said, those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. Just be yourself because everybody else is taken. It's easier that way. It makes you live longer, makes you happier, and it makes you respect yourself for not, kissing up to people and just not being you. Try it works. Okay. In terms of the next question about what do I enjoy most about the hedge fund, probably the people. When you work in the finance industry, you get to meet with a lot of CEOs, CFOs, and whatnot. I enjoy meeting with people and just learning from them. And I've met, humbly, almost every major tech CEO and entrepreneur on the planet. So I enjoyed people. Yeah. Now, my lowest point was probably in October of 2008, when the market was down like 20% or something. We were up 4 or 5% that month because we were bearish. And it was a low point for me because I felt disgusting. I'd show up to work and my analyst, my team would tell me, hey, Chris, this bank is about to declare bankruptcy and we're shorted. And I was like, yes. Like I was happy that people were losing their jobs. It wasn't a good way to live. So anyway, that and many other reasons, I decided to get into venture capital. I invested in my venture capital fund, not in Facebook when it was private, but so did every VC firm in the world. Everybody had a piece of this. And I was longer term focused, which made me happier. And I hated the randomness as well, because every month has 20 weekdays. And that means every month has 20 days that the market's open. You can't make money every month. It's impossible. You cannot do it. And the hedge funds that do, not all of them, but for the most part, they're crooked. They break the law because you'll get fooled by randomness. I can't control what Putin is going to say tomorrow. I have no idea. I don't know what saber rattling is going to go on between Beijing and DC. I don't know what company X is going to announce tomorrow that's going to make all companies in the sector go up and down. You have to be long-term focused because, as Warren Buffett said, the longer the view, the wiser the intention. And that's why I got out of the hedge fund market and I went into venture capital. And I discovered eventually I just love teaching instead. So that's what I do. I teach. Okay, next up, Mike Flynn wrote, is it possible for somebody to make a living trading options after studying your options course from home? Yeah. In other words, your average person, not somebody working for an investment company. Yeah. So in that options course, which if anybody's taken my MBA program, regardless of which program you signed up for on my website in the past, if you look at the last lecture in the course, I added a longer version of it. It's called FA44, Finance and Accounting Semester 4, Class 4. It's a 30-hour elective on hedge funds, shorting, advanced portfolio management, as well as options. And I tell everybody to practice for at least 6 months first. Okay, at least 6 months. I don't want you to make a career out of options trading unless you do a ton of research on companies. Okay, like you have to understand the underlying fundamentals of companies before you invest in options. Now, the way you make money sometimes in options is it's short-term focused, right? Which is hard. It's hard to call a market short-term. But I think the best way to make money in options are buying longer-term options that are 2 or 3 years long, sometimes called LEAPs, long-term equity anticipation securities. I don't even know what it stands for. But if you want to practice trading right now, this goes for everybody, what you can do is you can download something called Think or Swim. Now, if this doesn't work in your country, you can use a VPN if you're allowed to, or just do a search for what is this Think or Swim equivalent in India, for example. And so you'll see here there's live trading and paper trading. And my desktop is messy, I know. So what I want you to do, and you can do this in many applications, is go to paper trading, okay? And then you enter in your name and your password. Okay. And you'll see that this is a pretend blotter. Okay, and this, what I'm about to show you is exactly what it looks like on Wall Street when I worked at Goldman Sachs on the trading floor there. So it's an amazing application. And what you can do is you can actually look to buy options. Okay, so you type in the ticker, and then right here, these are options. And I can go into more detail on that if you want to, but only if there's questions, right? These are call options that expire on April 8th, okay, for Tesla. So I want you to practice that way. Yeah. Now, in terms of the resources that I provide you in my MBA program and my options course, what you can do is I provide you with tons and tons of templates that don't have macros, where you can do a ton of investment research on 35 different types of options. It's a big file. That's why it took a second to open here. Okay. And I've got 3 tracks as well: beginner, genius, and then down there is advanced. And basically what I do, and let me just get a little bit more real estate here by getting rid of the whole menu. Basically I'll wrap this one up quickly, I promise you. Basically, I give you tons of different option strategies, and you can enter in all this stuff and then automatically price options. I price options for you here as well. Stocks, country ETFs, sector ETFs, commodities, etc. We just lost 7 viewers. I'm going to get out of this and go back to real time now. Or back to questions. Thanks. It's fun. It's a game for me. Okay. Next question is from Anurag, who wrote, "Hey Chris, hope all is well. Likewise, great to see you again." And the question is, I've sent you an email. How should one join you as an affiliate and promote your courses? Hope you have time to look at it. Yeah, thank you. I'm so sorry. I get so many inbounds. If I didn't respond, I apologize. So there is an affiliate program on Teachable for my courses. I haven't really looked into it yet. Maybe at some point I will, but thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, next up, oh my goodness, we got Michael, who goes by the Aqua Hood from the United Kingdom. I haven't seen you in like 8 months, brother. I hope you're doing well. And Michael, who I've never met, I've just seen on the webcast here, he's a solid dude. He actually went to school with Sacha Baron Cohen. He grew up with them. He was friends with him as a kid, you know, the dude that's Borat. And I asked Michael a couple of years ago on this webcast, what was he like? And Michael told me that Sacha Baron Cohen was so generous that he would give me and everybody else his toys when he was 4 years old. And Sacha Baron Cohen's mother would come up to Michael's house when he was a kid and knock on the door and very politely say, "Can I please have the toys back for Sacha?" Great to see you, brother. And thank you for that emoji. God bless you. I miss you. Good to see you again. All right, next up I got Eric, who wrote, maybe mutual funds underperform indexes is because of higher fees. Yeah, it's because of higher fees, and it's also because of higher taxes, and it's also because investment managers are chasing performance. And when you're trying to will it, you know, like Jedi mind trick, look at the charts all day and hopefully make money in the short term, which is impossible, you tend to underperform and you panic. Yeah. And a lot of times mutual fund managers and hedge fund managers, they will get fired if they don't make money in a year. So if it's the fourth quarter, they know they're going to get fired, and so they swing for the fences anyway, which is a terrible way to invest. Give me one sec, guys. I learned about this from I think it was from Bono. It's called Throat 37. A lot of opera singers use it and rock singers. I'm gonna go on mute and cough. 1 second, guys. I'm fine. I'm back. I'm good. All right, moving on. And you guys can buy this product before an interview as well if you have a frog voice like I do today. Yeah. I always feel better than I sound. Okay, next question's from the Berlin, who's in my MBA program, who wrote, Chris, can you do a live example of getting the WACC with Roblox or with any stock? Yeah. So I think the best thing to do is within the MBA program, you can watch that lecture, and I'll show you exactly how to get there, okay? And I'll talk about Roblox in a second. So all you do is go to my website here, okay? And then you search for WACC, okay? The weighted average cost of capital. And I've got it actually in the MBA program. If you keep scrolling down, you will see it in here. An MBA lecture will appear. You'll click on it and you'll go directly to your, I just have a lot of content here. And then what you can also do is here on Webcast 18, I went through a big calculation of the WACC here. That's weighted average cost of capital. Yeah. Now, when it comes to Roblox, you can do a search here if you want to. I did a case study on Roblox, and I explained DAO, which is daily active users, as well as bookings, which basically means revenue plus a change in deferred revenue from the balance sheet. So it was a 15-minute one that I created, I guess, a year ago or so, on all about Roblox and how to read the financials for Roblox, which I hope is helpful for you. Yeah. Okay. And if you want me to go through, build a financial model with you, ask me during class or during our office hours later on today. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay, next up, a question from Copy Forex Trades, who wrote, is it only the investment bank that is appointed to lead the IPO and has to put the memorandum together? Or do the investment banks put their own memorandums together, the different ones? Yeah, it's one investment memorandum. And the way it works is this. So this here is the IPO investment banking prospectus, the S1 document for Facebook. So what happens, and it's tricky to see here, let me move in a bit here. You'll see here that the top left is Morgan Stanley. And top left, I'm getting too close to the mic here, sorry. Top left is who's running the IPO, okay? And then you've got top right, which is the second most important fund in terms of how much money they're making, which is Goldman Sachs in this case. Then you got JP Morgan. Then you got a bunch of other smaller investment banks in different countries. The reason you have different investment banks in different countries doing an IPO is because the company that's going public wants to distribute their shares to mutual funds and hedge funds and investors all over the world. And so it makes sense to not just use American-based investment banks, but use international ones as well. So there's only one prospectus that's created, okay, or one final prospectus. There's amended versions that investors look at, right? It's this one here. All right, next up, Jack Frost. Hey, Jack wrote, "Good day, Chris. Good day to you as well. I want to ask, when is it right to get seed investors?" Yeah. So when you're starting a company, after you write your business plan, okay, I want you to write your full business plan first, because failing to plan is planning to fail. Write your full business plan. And after you're happy with your 100-page business plan, which I teach you in the third semester of my MBA program during the Venture Capital Bootcamp, once you're happy with the entire business plan and you finish it, which means you like it, most of my business plans I don't finish, but once you finish it, then that's when you go for capital, okay? And don't ever get a loan from a bank, because banks are chicken. If you miss one payment, they'll take everything. You'll get money from high net worth investors by networking, and I teach you aggressive networking in my MBA program. Yeah. And again, we got a sale in the MBA program. It's 50% off. Go to harounventures.com and check it out. 30-day money-back guarantee. Oh my God, I'm a used car salesman. Yeah. I've got employees I got to pay. Okay. All right, next up, Priyam wrote, "Greetings from Jakarta. Good to see you. I have a couple of students from Jakarta in my class this year and last year." Priyam wrote, "I bought your personal savings course. I want my future kids to have a good sense of their savings and expenses. Thank you for buying the course. What are the best things to teach them about personal savings? Yeah. So the most important thing is just explain to them the future value of money. So for example, if you buy a $300 set of Beats earphones, okay? If instead you put that in the markets, stock markets, over 40 or 50 years, that $300 becomes $35,000. The numbers add up, and I teach it in that course and in my MBA program as well. So teach them the future value of money. Tell them this also. If you spend $3 every week on virtual gems, then you're giving up a Ferrari, in 30 years. Give them the time value of money. Okay. All right. And let me show you guys something right now about saving money that I think is really, really helpful. I've got a beta product here I want to show you. And this will put it into context for yourself as well as for your family when it talks about saving money. So let me go here to the beta version of this product here. And I will go down here to the final step. Give me 1 second, guys. This will be worth it. All right, hold on. Okay. Great. Okay, good. So here's what we're going to do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you how much money you can save monthly in the long run and make you a millionaire. Okay, and this is not a, hey, I promise to make you rich thing, but it makes sense. So first of all, I want you to, I'm going to type in here, what is the average historical stock market return, right? So it's usually 12 to 15%. So I'll do 12% here. How many years do you want to do this analysis for? I'll do 45 years. Okay, what's the currency? It's dollars. All right, so what I did here was I entered in a bunch of things. So how much money can we save on coffee per month? So instead of me going to $4, which is what I call Starbucks, and if I make coffee at home instead, I can save $2 a day. $2 a day times 30 days is $60. Okay, so this is the this here is the annual savings, but over 45 years, it's that much money. Yes. 600 grand if you make your coffee at home. That's right. The numbers add up. And for techies out there and finance people, I'm using the future value calculation here. And for people in my MBA program, you're going to be getting this soon. Okay, rent. What if I spend $600 a month on rent right now and I decide, you know what, man? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to buy a place. That's $6 million in savings. That's right, in the long run. What about Netflix? If I downgrade Netflix from, I don't know, $18 to $10, the cheaper version, I save $120 per year, which is $97,000 in 45 years, right? And I can make this bigger if you want to as well, or smaller. Okay. All the numbers do filter through. I think it's from up above. Yeah. Okay. And then right here, if I get rid of Canva, I save that much. If I pack my lunch, which is $100 per month in savings or whatever it is, then eventually, and that's $1,200 per year, I save $1 million. $1 million from packing your own lunch. Listen to your parents or your grandparents; they're right. Yeah. In-app purchases. If I don't do that, $5, a month, whatever it is, then I save 50 grand. Spotify, whatever, all that stuff. Carpool to work, $100 a month. That's $1 million in the long run. And here's just a chart showing it here, right? So I'm still working on this. It's not perfected yet. All these numbers are being pulled from above. Yeah. Okay. But hopefully that impresses upon you how small savings add up in the long run. And you can show that to your kids as well. Okay. All right, next up, Eric wrote, Robert Kiyosaki, who's a famous finance writer and business writer, he asks, why invest in the stock market when unlimited currency can be created and the purchasing power of the dollar is plummeting? Yeah. So you're betting on a great management team that's going to be able to make you money in the long run, right? And so keeping your money in cash, it's not a good investment because governments can increase the percent of cash out there. So for example, in the past couple of years, the American government has increased the number of dollar bills out there by about 50%. But other countries have done that too. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but if you put more money in the marketplace, that makes interest rates go down. Vice versa, for interest rates, you want them to go up. And so every country in the world, it was a race to dilute. So every country in the world was cutting interest rates in the past couple of years because of COVID. And so, cash is trash. And I think a better investment than cash is anything you do a lot of research on, be it stocks, bonds, commodities, real estate, etc. Yeah. Okay. All right. Next question I've got here is from MT, who wrote, Sir, Chris, please. In your website login button, it's difficult to see. Plus, you click the plus on special pages to get login option. Please add a login option on every page of your website, the first page. Yeah, I want to help out here. I'm trying to understand. So, for MBA login, yeah. So you go up here if you're platinum and gold. Yeah. But if you want to buy my courses and watch the silver MBA, you just click here, and it looks like my website. It's actually not. Right here, it's actually. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, you want me to add it up here? You're right, dude. Thank you for that. I was playing around with it, and I removed that because I didn't want people to get distracted. You're right, because if you go to any other course here, you see login at the top. You're right. I'm going to turn my watch around, and I'm going to make that change today. Thank you for that. And the reason I turned my watch around is because later on, when I look at the time, I'm like, dude, why is my watch upside down? And then I remember, oh yeah, that's right. I've got to change my website. The problem is if you have to remember two things, you're screwed. You wear two watches or something. I don't know. Thank you for that. Great feedback. I'll make that change the second this webcast is done. Thank you. Okay. Get some breakfast. Okay. Oh! Zoralina just said, I lost the A in the background. Wow. And it looks like the O. Haroun Education Ventures. Yeah. Thank you for that. All right, give me 1 second. I'll take you guys behind the scenes if you're curious. All right. So let me go over here and try to fix it. It must have fallen down. So I've got them here, and these basically, and I can 3D print these as well. And I'm going to make them thinner the next ones when I 3D print them because you see shadows with this. So all this is double-sided tape right here. So what I'll do is I'm actually going to put this up right now, and I'm going to show you behind the scenes how I do it. Okay. So let me go here. Give me 1 second. Okay. And I'm going to show all the horizontal lines. 1 second here, so that I can do this in real time with all of you. And thank you again for this feedback. Okay, there we go. All right. So this will help me kind of set it up, and we'll do this together. Okay, so H right there. Good. The O, which you can't turn upside down. It's idiot proof for this old 50-year-old man here. I'll put this up here and I'll push it in. There we go. Set in stone. Thank you. Thank you for that wonderful feedback. Yeah, that's nicely lined up too. Okay, let me get rid of these ugly lines here. Give me 1 second and we'll go back to questions. Thanks for that feedback. Okay. I'm looking forward to seeing you on the silver call at 10 a.m. today. Okay, here I got one more line. Oh my God, how do I get rid of that line? You know, I'll just drag it off. Here we go. Good. Okay, we're good to go. Thank you for that feedback. Like the O is a little off, but that's okay. As Salvador Dali once said, if you strive for perfection, you'll never reach it. And as Reid Hoffman said, Reid Hoffman is the co-founder of LinkedIn. If you release your product when it's perfect, then you've missed the market. You got to release what's called an MVP or minimum viable product. Yeah, thank you for that. Okay. Next up, Mike wrote, I wanted to mention that your courses are by far the best compared to anything else I've seen. Thank you. Just so much detail and information. Thank you. And it's fun for me, and none of this would be possible without my incredibly inspiring students from all over the world. And thank you. I love it. And it has to be an art form for me. I know it sounds nerdy, but I've got to be creative and use props and just teach differently. And this is what I'm doing with programming as well. I feel like this is out there, but I feel like with Excel and with courses, I feel like it's a blank template. This is my Bob Ross moment. Yeah. Thank you. And then Mike wrote, I feel confident that I'm getting the best instruction available and I don't need to look anywhere else. Thank you. And I appreciate that. Thank you. but I can't wait to teach you programming. It's going to be fun. Yeah. Small hands. This is a small Canadian, okay, with small hands. Yeah. This is one of the props for the programming stuff. And those are dad jokes. Dad jokes are repetitive. It's just what we do. Because, you know, the older I get, the better I was. I've seen your moments now. Thank you. Okay, so I've got Arsalan. First time seeing you on the call. I hope you join us again. Thank you. Wrote, Dear Chris, first of all, thanks a lot for putting out wonderful and intellectual content. Thank you. I've also bought your MBA program. I'm really excited about it. Awesome. Thank you. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy it. And I hope to see you on a Zoom call as well at 10 a.m. today. Yeah. Thank you. And I'll go through your LinkedIn profile and change everything for you or help with changes if you want. If you want. Yeah. Okay. And I'm buying time because YouTube just skipped on me and I got to find where I was. Give me 1 second here. All right. Don't go anywhere. Okay, 1 second. Oh, here we go. I found it. Good. Thank you. All right, next up, I've got Ali. Ali, one of my MBA students. Good to see you, dude. Who wrote, Challenges of Living in an African Third World Country. Even when you Google LegalZoom equivalent in Zambia, nothing useful pops up. It's quite sad. Yeah. I'm not sure what the solution would be there. I would probably just talk to friends of yours that might know lawyers that are decent at what they do. All right, so Arsalan wrote, my question is, I found an IT services company and you're a college dropout, you wrote. I have zero debt, nice. My turnovers are over $1 million with 60 to 70% margins. That's insane, man. Wow, that's like almost software quality margins. My goal is to list my corporation on the New York Stock Exchange like Accenture. And then before I start working on it, I need to scale my business to 100 million. I love it. I need to ask, to scale it, to have that level, where should I start focusing on more, giving my vision for a listing? Yeah. So you mentioned Accenture, so it might be a consulting related company, but that sounds like very high margins for a consulting company. Tell me, first of all, the nature of the company, the industry you're in, and I'll help you out in much more detail. If you're in my MBA program, fast forward to E32, which is Entrepreneurship Semester 3, Class 2, where we start the Venture Capital Boot Camp. Or if you're in the Silver MBA, what you can do is show me your business plan at 10 a.m. today, my time, when we do the Zoom call for Silver. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, but write a thorough business plan first, yeah. And writing a thorough business plan is kind of like doing one of these, sort of. It is. Because the business plan stuff I included in the Venture Capital Boot Camp in the third semester in the MBA. The business plan stuff that I use is similar to creating one of these things, which is preparing you for an IPO anyway. Yeah. Of course, you have to talk to lawyers, of which I'm not one. Yeah. But I love lawyers when they represent me. Yeah. I got the best lawyer, man. Yeah. All right. All right. Next question I've got here is, hold on a second here. Okay. Okay, Dario. Oh, Dario, how are you? Dario's from Italy, and he wrote, Hi, Chris. It's me, Dario. Because I teased you a couple of years ago with Nintendo that my kids play this. And I played Nintendo 64, okay? I played it as a kid. I'm a man-child now. And my kids said, It's me, Mario. Good to see you, man. Okay. All right, next up we got President Scroob wrote, Hey, Chris. Hey, man. I'm taking your finance analyst course. I'm analyzing a fintech company. Okay, cool. On the company's 10K report, they don't list any competitors. Are there any other resources where I can use to find? Yeah. That is surprising. I bet you they do. If you look at risks, they have to mention risks. Otherwise, I don't know how reputable that is. If you want, enter the company name and I'll do research in real time with you right now and I'll uncover the competitors for you. Yeah. Oh, here's what you can also do. You go to LinkedIn and do an advanced search and find people that used to work at that company, and the company they work at now might well be a competitor. Okay. Okay. And then next up, Dario wrote, "You are great." No, please, thank you. And thank you for putting a smile on my face with the Mario thing. Yeah. You wrote a question. Last week you were talking about an open source 3D printer. Where'd you get it from, and what is your feedback on it? Yeah. So I've got the Creality, and I'll show you the exact one I bought. You can get it for $170 now. Yeah. So let's go together to my Amazon account here. Orders. This should work. And let me type in here 3D. We're going on vacation. You have to wear this in the airplane still. Okay, search orders. 3D printer. Oh, here it is here. Yeah. Okay, good. All right, so the one I bought, it's right here. Okay, so it's called the Ender 3 Pro. You can find it for $170 if you look. Okay, it's available if you search for it. I promise you. So this is the one. This is the one here. It's open source based as well. It takes a while to configure. It's kind of a pain in the neck to configure and level the bed every now and then, but it's fun. I enjoy it. Yeah. And one of my students in Hungary, he has a daughter who loves her dollhouse, and he's printing up shoes and beds with her. It's fun. Yeah. It's a good printer, but it's not. It takes a while. Like, you can get it for $170 because you have to set it up. Like, it doesn't come assembled, which takes you a couple hours, right? And every time you print, you have to level the bed as well. And these things take time to print, man. Like this thing here, for the programming course thing, this thing here took like 8 hours to print. But what you have to do is you've got to make it hollow. It's like honeycombs, because that way it'll print faster, and it's cheaper as well for refills. Yeah, but it's fun. Yeah. But you got to hack around a lot at it. It's not plug and play. Okay, it's kind of like if you want to install Linux or something. But I'm glad I got it. All right, next up, Copyforex Trades wrote, is it the investment bank that leads the IPO that determines the share price of the new public company, because the other banks involved in the IPO have their own clients with different bidding prices? Yeah. So the way it works is as follows. Okay, all these investment banks work together. Okay, but whoever is top left has more say. They're kind of leading the show. And then what happens is the salespeople that work on the trading floor at all these investment banks, they'll talk to their clients and they'll say, hey, how many shares do you want and at what price? And then what they'll do is at each investment bank, there's a function called equity capital markets that'll put together a book. It's called the book building process. And in the book are how many shares, which clients want, at what price. And then everything is given to whoever leads the IPO, Morgan Stanley, top left in this case. And they look at it and they talk to the company, Facebook in this example, and say, I want to give this many shares to this client that you met with on the roadshow. Are you cool with me giving it to them? And Zuckerberg, for example, in this hypothetical case, would say yes, or they would say no. Zuck might have said, well, during the roadshow, that dude works at a hedge fund. He's short-term focused. I think he's just going to flip and sell the deal, so no. Yeah. And then the investment banker might also say, is it okay if we give Fidelity a little bit more shares? Because, they're one of our biggest clients. And when I worked at Goldman, in some firms, Fidelity would always get twice as many shares in an IPO as the second biggest allocation. Yeah, that's how powerful Fidelity was and still is. Yeah, and we were really careful with that too. You never really reveal that to clients. We used to say Fidelity is getting a lot of shares. Yeah, because you wouldn't figure out that means Fidelity. Okay. Next up, Dario wrote, your courses and weekly webcasts are awesome. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. And it's good to see you. It's been a while, brother. I hope you're doing well, man. Yeah. Okay. And they're opening a Nintendo World in Southern California in 2023. So I don't have to fly with my kids to Japan now, but I still want to go there. I love Japan. Okay. And then Hui wrote, hi, Chris. When will your real estate course be released? Yeah. So I'm putting that on the back burner. It will come out eventually, but I'm going to make it a shorter course. I had grand ambitions to fly to Canada and have my film crew record me buying a building in Southern Ontario. I own a couple of them there. And then, yeah. And by the way, We have a couple buildings that we rent out right by the University of Western Ontario in London, Ontario, where I was born. And the place got trashed. And so my wife said, we're never renting to guys again. Only female students. And I said, that's offensive, honey. Yeah. All right. Yeah, so I will do it eventually, but I'm not going to make it 30 or 40 hours. Yeah, I will get it done. But I'm having so much fun with this programming stuff. Yeah, I promise you it will get done. Okay. All right, next up, Shung wrote, and Shung is in my MBA program as well. He wrote, "Hi, Chris. Wonderful to see you at this live webcast. Likewise, great to see you. Great to see you. Your name is Shungo, and I grew up with a guy I went to Appleby with, high school, named Shengo. Good guy, yeah." And then you wrote here, "I managed to make it to the session before your vacation. I had a great informational meeting with DH yesterday." DH is David, one of our students from Jakarta, who's awesome. Yeah, that's great. Awesome. I love when you guys network with each other. Okay, next up we got Eric, who wrote, "I recently got a job offer. Congratulations. But I have to wait 5 weeks for a public trust. What should I do in the meantime to make onboarding smoother?" Yeah. Don't ever worry about your first day at work. Like, I used to stress about it and do lots of research when I was on vacation or before I started the new job. It's so much easier than you think, because in the first couple of weeks on a new job, they're not going to ask you to do rocket scientist stuff, no matter what your age or level is. It's going to be laid back. You're going to grip and grin and meet a lot of people and network. And make sure in the first 2 weeks when you start a new job, you network and meet people. Because it's kind of like an unwritten rule that everyone will take meetings with you. It's like your first 2 weeks of university or high school. The new friends you made in those first 2 weeks, you still have today. It's weird. It's like, hey, you're the new kid in town. I'll help you. But don't over stress about it, please. Yeah, don't worry. Yeah, but if you want, you can just take online courses in whatever sector it's in. And in my MBA program, if you got 5 months, you can finish mine in a couple months if you do it full time. So go to my website, harounmba.com, and I've got a special 50% off, 30-day, 100% money back guarantee, all that stuff. Yeah. Okay. All right. And then Arsalam wrote, thank you. "Hi, Chris. Can you add listing companies on the stock market as a 7-section class in your MBA program, please?" No, we do. We do a lot of case studies, actually. I did a case study on Facebook going public. Yeah, so I do cover that. Yeah. Thank you. And you could always go to my website, do a search on IPO, and you'll see where in the curriculum I cover that. Thanks. Okay. Next up, Eric wrote, "How much time passes after you convert the currency before you purchase the commodity?" Yeah. So when you it's kind of like buying a stock. It's instantaneous. Yeah. So when you convert from one currency to the next, it's like buying a liquid stock. As long as you buy it at a market order, not a limit order, it can convert pretty quickly. And then it's up to you to decide, how to contact the company you want to buy commodities from. So if you convert from Chinese yuan into Canadian dollars and you want to buy oil, then after you convert to Canadian dollars, which drives up the price of Canadian dollar, then you call PetroCanada and say, "Hey, I want to buy oil from you." That's how it works. Okay. All right, next up, Bosco, how are you? Bosco is one of my MBA students. I call him Bosco Bold because I did a case study with him where I made a button bold. So Bosco Bold. Bosco is based in Hong Kong. He is the next Tony Robbins. He's incredible. I'm not an arrogant guy, but I'm a very good judge of character, and this guy lights up a room, kind of like Peyton Kalawahea, my student from the United States Navy, who graduated last year from Platinum. Yeah, great to see you. So Bosco wrote, "Hello, Chris. Hope you're doing great. Likewise, happy learning. Believe." I love it. I love it. And during graduation, I talk about Believe and what that stands for in more details. Yeah, thank you. Great to see you. Harsh, how are you? Good to see you. Harsh, I'm looking forward to seeing you again this week at 10 a.m. on our weekly Zoom call for Silver students. Hope you're doing well. A couple of years ago or 2 years ago, Harsh recommended to me a movie that changed my life. And he mentioned it over and over and over again. I finally watched it. It's called The 3 Idiots. And it's the best Bollywood movie ever. I laughed. I cried multiple times. Please, everybody watch that movie. It's life-changing. Again, it's called 3 Idiots. And Harsh, thank you so much for recommending that to me. And Kevin, one of my other students, recommended that as well. Yeah. Okay. All right, and thank you everybody for telling me about the A and the O falling off. I see the comments here. I fixed it. Thanks. All right. Okay, and Dario wrote, today I found out with Google that these are not praying hands. Oh, the emoji. Their hands doing a high five. I've been using them the wrong way. Oh my God, I had no idea. All right, when I go to church from now on, I'm just going to high five everybody. Yeah. So when the priest says, okay, let's now recite the Lord's Prayer, I'm going to go, yeah. Yeah. Actually, I am a speaker at my church. I read the first reading, second reading. Yeah. And Eileen, if you're on the call, I want to let you know that priest you grew up with in the Philippines, he's at my parish now, and I'm grabbing a coffee with him this Sunday. Small world. Eileen graduated from the MBA program 2 years ago. Her last name, beautiful last name. It's Deo Gracias, which is Spanish for thank God. The Lord works in mysterious ways. Yeah. And I need this faith now. Yeah. Okay. Okay. CMA wrote, hi, Chris. Hey, how are you? Good to see you. Okay. Okay. And then Bosco wrote, I thought about this quote from Les Brown. Help others achieve their dreams and you will achieve yours. Yeah, I love that. I love that. It's kind of like when I used to be on the board of the Limo Foundation, helping poor kids in East Palo Alto. The motto of the organization was, don't expect to accomplish your dreams in life unless you help others accomplish theirs first. And that's how I live. Yeah. Yeah. And Les Brown also said, don't let somebody else's opinion of you become your reality. I love that. Les has a lot of great speeches. Check him out on YouTube. Yeah. Christina, how are you? Christina is the president of the Haroun Education Ventures Alumni Network. She is our fearless leader, and that name was coined by Peyton Kalwahea, who graduated from the MBA program, who's in the United States Navy. So that's saying a lot. She's great. So Christina and her husband, Christian, graduated from the program last year, and they have a wonderful daughter Isabella, and the three of them were on CBS recently on television. They're stars. So Christina wrote, good morning, Chris, and our amazing global MBA and webcast family. Hope you're having an outstanding week. I am, thank you. Cheers, Chris. I'm at 9 a.m. water and 400 steps. How are you? Yeah. So for me, what am I at now for water? I'm only at 8 a.m. I'm way behind schedule. For steps, and I got 30,000 steps and way over 30,000 on Monday. I pushed myself too hard, but I love it. In terms of my steps, and we compete, all of us. I love it. I'm at 223. I got a lot of work to do. Yeah. Rose, how are you? Rose graduated from the first MBA class a couple of years ago. She's from the great state of Virginia. Great to see you, Rose. Hope you're doing well. Okay. Next question I've got is from Eric, who wrote, in what ways does the decrease in purchasing power of the dollar affect the prices of various stocks? Yeah, I want to own a stock that increases to such an extent that it covers the loss of purchasing power. Yeah, yeah. So the best way to answer that is talking about currency hedging. A couple of ways. Number one, a lot of companies that do business in different countries, they will hedge their currency exposure so that if currency rates change a lot, it's not going to have an impact on earnings at all. Okay. In terms of your exposure to a certain currency, so let's say that you're in Europe and you're buying a lot of United States stock. Okay, lots of shares in the United States. And you're worried that the euro is going to go up versus the dollar, which I don't think it will. So if the euro goes up versus the dollar, then even if your US-based stocks go up, they won't go up as much given the conversion. In that case, you can hedge your exposure to the euro, okay, by creating an options trade, okay, or short the euro. Okay, just to kind of offset that if you want to. Please do your research on it. It takes a lot of work to do, and talk to an investment professional if that's something you're considering doing. It's not something I see that often. Yeah. Okay. But you can always look through the annual report for any company or the S1 filing or the 10K or 10Q and just do a search for hedging. And you'll see FX hedging is written up in the financial statements in a footnote. They'll explain how they're hedged. All right, Jasper, how are you? Jasper is graduated from my MBA program last year. Great guy, great guy. Jasper wrote, "Hi Chris, I talked, and give me 1 second. Hi Chris, I talked with a CFO and an investor from Silicon Valley who mentioned that I would end up on a blacklist when pitching to investors when a startup has no CTO and prototype. What are your thoughts?" Yeah. I don't know if I agree with that. So first of all, a CTO is kind of a more of a, it's the role that kind of runs the technology infrastructure of a company. A more important role for a startup is the VP of engineering. Okay, so a VP of engineering is more important. If a founder is a techie, if they're technical in nature, but they don't technically call themselves a VP of engineering or CTO, I don't think it really matters early on, especially seed stage, giving yourself a title. I don't think it matters. And if you're somebody like Steve Jobs, for example, God bless him, and you're very good at sales but not as good at techie stuff, then you need to find your Wozniak, okay, your yin yang to complete the picture. So Steve Jobs, again, God bless him, was a great salesperson, but he wasn't the best tech person. And that's why he got Wozniak, to assuage investor concerns about his lack of technical skills. Yeah. So you can always find somebody to kind of complete you from a Jerry Maguire moment perspective. Hopefully that makes sense. Yeah. And in terms of your product, you don't need to have it perfectly done. You can have a prototype. So let me give you a real life example. So I partnered years ago in one of my investments with Kleiner Perkins, which is a great venture capital fund. And I went to Kleiner Perkins' offices on Sand Hill Road here in the Bay Area. And I met with this guy there who was there named Randy Komisar. And this guy's a rock star. And Randy Komisar was the partner at Kleiner Perkins that decided to invest in Nest. Now, for those of you that have a thermostat at home that's Wi-Fi based, that looks like it's one of those round things, that's made by a company called Nest. And so I asked Randy, I said, I can't believe you sold this company for $3 billion to Google. Tell me more about it. You know, what was your first meeting like with the entrepreneurs? Did they have the product developed? And he said, no. They showed up with a piece of wood about this size, and they said, this is what the product's going to look like. And I said, well, why did you invest? And he said, well, the management team was so inspiring, and they really impressed me, and I love their vision. So just remember, people invest in you first, your product second, your company second. And I'd always rather invest in an A management team with a B business model than invest in an A business model with a B management team. The jockey is always more important than the horse. Always, always, always. And sometimes you'll see investors invest in an entrepreneur, and they're not too crazy about the investment idea, but they love the entrepreneur. And whenever I meet with an entrepreneur and I decide whether or not to invest from a venture capital perspective, I think of myself as a customer of that firm. Do they get me excited? Does the entrepreneur get me excited about their product or not? Can they sell? And I teach how to sell my MBA program as well. All right. Great to see you, Jasper. Okay. Next up, Hari wrote, hey, Hari, how are you? Hari, great to see you. Hari wrote, good morning, Chris. Awaiting our MBA live class. Awesome, awesome. So for those of you in the silver program at 10 a.m. today, what I'm going to do is I do Zoom, which is in less than half an hour, I think. I do Zoom with you, and I'll help you with your LinkedIn profile, help you with an interview, business stuff, anything you want. I'm here to humbly serve you. Yeah. I'm your humble consultant. Yeah. Conciliare. Yeah. All right. Next up, Peyton, how are you? The Game Report by Peyton Kalahea. Peyton, great to see you, brother. Peyton and I are making a course on NFTs. Peyton wrote, Chris is the man. Love this dude. Love you more, brother. Hope you're doing well. So Peyton he's in the United States Navy in surface warfare, based in San Diego. He and his wife, Hannah, and their family are moving to Tulsa, Oklahoma. And on the side, what Peyton did is he created this unbelievable website called GameReport.io. And I'm not an arrogant guy, but I'm a good judge of character. And similar to my comments on Bosco earlier on the call today, Peyton he's gonna blow up. He's gonna be huge. And my prediction is within a year, he'll have more than 100,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel. I interviewed him on this call, my weekly, about 4 or 5 months ago, I think. But let me show you his website. It's pretty cool, man. All right. So let me first of all go to let's check Peyton out here. Peyton, we're going to go to your LinkedIn profile, brother. Okay, I want to show people who you are because you inspire me. Peyton, here we go. So here's Peyton here. He works with the U.S. Navy. He started a company, and he's very active now in vlogging and whatnot. He's a funny guy as well. Your stuff is perfect for TikTok as well. Yeah, surface warfare. And let's go to his website, which is Game Report. Game Report. Okay. .io. So Peyton is an expert in the video game market as well as NFTs and in-game purchases and all that stuff. He's got education as well here. If you want to learn more about this stuff, blockchain gaming, he's the man. And also on YouTube, if you want to learn more about Peyton, if you're having trouble sleeping, Peyton, I love you. I had to tease you. I'm kidding. No, your channel's the best. Peyton, Game Report. I'll do Game Report. Game Report.io. Peyton. The Game Report. Here it is here. Okay. So here's Peyton here. His setup at home is unbelievable. Look at the quality there. It's awesome. He provides a lot of spreadsheets as well and tools for his viewers. He's got about 7,000 subscribers. He just started with this as well. It's very exciting. No, he's doing great, man. He's doing great. It's good to see you, brother. Good to see you. Yeah. Amazing. So if you guys have questions about crypto stuff, ask Peyton, man. I don't know this stuff anymore. It's Peyton runs circles around me. Yeah. Great to see you. And so Peyton wrote here, how much is the markup for an IPO? Usually it's 30%. So usually an IPO, when a company goes public, the stock jumps 30%. And the reason it does is because why is somebody going to buy something unless it's on sale? Like where's the sense of urgency for me to buy a product unless it's on sale? And so what the investment bankers do on the syndicate when they create the IPO, what they do is they price it at 30% below the value of the company where they think it should be priced at. So that it jumps on day one. It's just the way it works. Similarly, when you see M&A, mergers and acquisition work, the premium one company pays to buy another is usually 30% as well, just the going rate. Yeah. And then you wrote, I remember that one lesson you taught about hedge funds getting called and how you said Facebook, because demand wasn't there. When banks are doing the underwriting process, how much at a discount people get when buying in bulk? Yeah. Yeah. So if you buy anything in bulk in life, stocks, I don't know, cups, whatever it is, you get a discount. You just do. And the same thing works for stocks. So if somebody wants to buy a massive block of shares, they can often buy it from somebody else at a discount. And that's where the traders make a lot of money. Okay, so also if you have a massive number of shares and you want to sell it in the marketplace, massive amount, you get a trader to shop your block. And it's usually at a discount as well. Yeah. Okay. And then Morgan wrote, hi, Chris. I love your smiling face. Thank you. I appreciate it. Can you explain the different tiers of your MBA program? Absolutely, and thank you for that. Yeah. So I have a special announcement that I decided yesterday that I'm going to show you now. So if you go to my website, Haroun Education Ventures or something, Haroun Ventures. If you scroll down, here it comes. Wait for it. Right here. Okay. I have the next gold and platinum degree starting September 30th. Okay. Now, it's going to be classes and it lasts 1 year. Okay. And I'll explain the whole tier structure in a second. It lasts 1 year. And classes that start on September 30th are only on Fridays in one time zone. There's 6 hours of classes every Friday from 9 a.m. Pacific time until 3 p.m. Pacific time. Every Friday for 1 year. That's how it's going to work. Yeah. Now, let me explain how the program works in general. So there's 3 versions of my MBA program. Okay, there's silver, gold, platinum. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my face off in the corner here. It's like a hockey reference. I'm Canadian. I got to go there. Yeah. So the silver MBA program contains over 300 hours of lessons. Okay, it's on sale now for $499. That's 50% off, and the usual price is $999. And you get a 30-day, 100% money back guarantee. So you can binge watch the whole thing, get your money back. My marketing team hates when I say that. All right. Now, all new content I add every year you get for free. Okay, and I add lots of stuff every single year. And I'll talk about gold and platinum in a second. Now, you also get a weekly Zoom office hours call with me at 10 a.m., which starts in, I guess, 15 minutes or 20 minutes from now, okay, where I help you with your resume, anything you want. And there's payment plans as well, yeah. And then what you can do is, it's $490, but if you upgrade to gold or platinum, you're guaranteed a spot, okay, in gold and platinum if you buy silver. And whatever you pay for silver, you get as a discount. So if you pay $499 and you want to get the gold, then you'll pay $1,000. Let's now talk about a gold and platinum. Now, silver, you can start today. It's like Netflix. You can watch it online. Yeah. And to get the degree, basically, all you have to do, there's 100 classes. And after each class, there is a short quiz. All you have to do is pass 50 of the quizzes. And I did that because I don't want to force people to watch content they're not interested in. Let's talk about gold now. So gold includes everything silver has, except you get more than 200 hours of live one-on-one questions with me. Okay, so for gold, the next class starts September 30th, okay, and it ends a year later. And it's every Friday from 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. Pacific time, plus a couple hours of me answering questions. Okay, and that adds up to over 300 hours of core content you can watch, as well as more than 200 hours of live Q&A. Okay. 30-day money-back guarantee and everything, always. Then we've got platinum. Platinum is just like gold, except you get 3 hours of one-on-one coaching with me, confidential coaching over Zoom. I'll help you with anything you want me to help you with, business, career-wise, etc. And in order to enroll, and there's payment plans as well, yeah. In order to enroll, you can just click here. Just go to harounventures.com or harounmba.com, same thing, and click here to enroll. Yeah, and if you have questions, what you can do is right here, and this is just test data, but it'll look differently for you. You can enter your questions here if you want, and if I don't answer them here on the webcast, and we'll get back to you immediately. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right, let me go back here. I'm excited to see you, Peyton, on the call too, man. It's great to see you. Yeah. Okay. And Morgan, it's a pleasure to meet you, man. And I'd love to be able to work with you as well. Okay. And then Peyton wrote, I watched that movie, Three Idiots. It's so good. I agree. I laughed, I cried, and reflected on all that in a span of a couple hours. Yeah. Yeah. It's great, man. Everyone's got to watch it. Three Idiots. It's amazing. Amazing movie. Yeah. 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 Except in the end, they all died. It was a tragic ending. But I don't want to ruin it for you guys, though. But check it out. You'll like it. I'm just kidding. Okay. All right, next one I've got here, and give me 1 second, guys, please. Okay, next up, Makiri wrote, hi, Chris, hey. What's the best way to find a promising IPO? Yeah, it's hard, man. Like, I would only invest in companies that you're passionate about and that you understand, that you've done your own research on. Don't talk to anybody else. Don't rely on me or anybody to tell you what to buy and not to buy. And so Peter Lynch, who was a famous portfolio manager at Fidelity, he managed the Magellan Fund back in the 80s. My old boss, Carson Levitt, worked for him, actually. But what Peter Lynch did was he and his wife would try products. And if they liked the product, you do research on it and invest in them. And so I only want you to invest in what you understand and what you love and what you're passionate about. And I want you to ask yourself a question first before investing. In 5 years, will this company or sector be more relevant than it is today? And that will help you think longer term. Plus, I give you a ton of tools or arrows in your quiver, tools in your toolbox, my MBA program, to help you learn how to do research on companies. Make sure you thoroughly understand the product. Thoroughly understand the product. Yeah. And again, I have a ton of templates I provide you with. And I want you to value the companies yourself as well. And of course, it goes out saying, read the entire S1 prospectus. I'll teach you how to read these things and understand what the heck it means in my MBA program as well, which is fun. Okay. Harry, how are you? Good to see you. Next up, I got Keith. Keith wrote, hope you're well. Likewise. What's the simplest way to find an S1 filing for delisted companies or private firms? Loving the MBA. Thank you. I appreciate that. It should be out there somewhere. Let's thank you for that feedback on the MBA as well. And if you want, join me in the MBA office hours, and I'll do real-time investment research with you on any company you want to, or help you with your LinkedIn profile, etc. Oh my God, I talk a lot. Okay, so let's go here, and I'm going to look to see a delisted company. I'm going to type in Enron. So for those of you not familiar with Enron, it was a scam of a company that went belly up around '02. I forgot the period here. It's fine here. And the ticker was ENE. And I had a lot of friends that shorted it, made a fortune. So let's type it in and see if I can find it, if it's still here. Let's go back here and let me search now by ticker. And if that doesn't work, I'll search by name. Now, tickers change as well. So a lot of times when a company gets delisted, or if the share price is too low, a couple of characters are added to the end of a ticker, and they're on the pink sheets. Let me type on Enron. Okay, here it is, Enron Corp. This company, it was a big bankruptcy. Okay, here we go. And let's look at the, okay, I'm gonna go to the classic version here, and let's search for the S1 on, what a great question, on Enron. Okay, all right, I can't see it here, but there are a ton of other documents you can look at here. Yeah, next 40. Wow, it goes back to 96 as well. Is that right? Okay, yeah. Wow. Okay, let's go back here. Let's see how far the data goes back. Sometimes it goes back only 20 years or so. Okay, so the oldest one we can get here is right here, which is an 8K. Okay, which means an annual, or which means a press release. Yeah, and it's you can read it here. It's all text based as well. Don't believe these numbers. It's all fraudulent anyway, as Enron went belly up. What you can also do is this: if the company is still in existence, you can actually go, you can call the company or email investor relations and get them to send you older reports. I did that years ago when I was doing a ton of research on Chipotle Mexican Grill, ticker CMG. What I did was I compared Chipotle to McDonald's because I thought that Chipotle was like McDonald's was in the 1960s in terms of same-store sales growth. And so I called McDonald's in Chicago at their headquarters. And they sent me all their old annual reports as well, so I could compare and contrast Chipotle to McDonald's. But you got to ask them. That's why investor relations exists. I want to show you guys a better website than SEC, though, if you want to download financial data. Okay, this will save you a lot of time. Bamsec.com, and a lot of people on Wall Street use this now. It's not that expensive. You can get a free 1-month trial if you want. So if you type in a ticker here, what you can do is, and this is just sample data, but you can actually download all the financial statements here directly. You see right here? So if I click here, download, right, for this income statement here, statement of operations, same thing as an income statement. If I click download here, it goes directly into Excel. Now it won't work because I'm not logged in, but you'll be able to put it directly in Excel. Actually, I think I'll let my membership expire as well. Yeah. Okay. All right. Next up, Peter from Romania. He's 19 years old. He's a big soccer fan, or football, I should say. Good to see you. It's been a couple of weeks. Peter wrote, hey, Chris, what do you think are the pros of globalization? Thanks a lot. Yeah. Yeah. Certainly seeing a lot of cons now, just given how interconnected we are with everything. I think that the biggest pros of globalization is that from a news media perspective, society should be much more open and interconnected as well. So the atrocities, for example, in the Ukraine, given globalization and given technology products globally, you can watch in real time the Ukrainian war on TikTok, for example. And that's how a lot of people, that's how my kids found out about it, was people, really sad stories people were posting on TikTok. I think technology brings the world together. I think it does. Now, in terms of the cons, the problem is that, when America sneezes, other countries, get the flu. And that has nothing to do with COVID. It just means if the American economy is not doing well, it really hurts other economies as well. And so nobody is really insulated. And what the Chinese government is trying to do, and it's smart, is they don't want to be reliant on America or other countries longer term from an export perspective. So the Chinese government, they're trying to create their own domestic economy and be self-sufficient so that they don't have to rely on exports to America and other countries. Yeah. Yeah. So the problem with interconnectedness and globalization, again, is if one country gets in a lot of pain, it hurts everybody. Yeah. But the pros are you've got more competition in the marketplace, and competition is good for the consumer from a price discovery perspective. Prices go down. Yeah. Okay. All right. Next up, and I'm going to have to wrap this up in a couple minutes, guys, for the silver call here. Next up, Atlantios wrote, "Hi, Chris. Kudos for sharing your brilliant knowledge." No, thank you. It's not mine. It's somebody else. Yeah. And then you wrote, "Recent news claims that financial instruments can flag and seize assets in cryptocurrency wallets. Could we assume that cold wallets are the best for privacy and securing of crypto assets?" Absolutely. And so for those of you not familiar with cold wallets and cryptocurrency, there are cold wallets and hot wallets. The best way to remember this is as follows. Hot wallets are ones that require electricity. So for example, if you use Coinbase wallet, which is a software wallet in the cloud, you need your computer to be on, your mobile phone consumes electricity, etc. Okay? That's a hot wallet. So a hot wallet's in the cloud. Yeah, hot wallet. Okay. Now a cold wallet is one where you don't need power to use it. And it's usually like a USB token wallet, like a Trezor or a Ledger Nano S. And you plug it into your computer and you can put your cryptos on there, trade them, whatever. And then you take it out and it can be cold. You don't need electricity to use it, and you store it somewhere safe. Hot wallet means online, software-based. Cold wallet means offline. And when I think of hot versus cold wallets, I think of it like a checkings account and a savings account. So when I want to spend money on stuff online and use cryptos, I'll use my checking account, which is my hot wallet on Coinbase. When I want to save money, I use my savings account, which is my cold storage wallet. And we know that in banks, the savings accounts usually have a slightly higher interest rate than the checking accounts. Hopefully that explains it. Yeah. But the best way for passwords and everything, guys, is this. I'm telling you, don't subscribe to any service that lets you store passwords in the cloud securely. They're full of it because every security protocol will get broken eventually. The best way to do it, and I have this in the back of my iPhone, along with my vaccination card from the Pfizer thing, I write all my passwords here. And if you can remember your passwords, then they suck, and you will get hacked. You got to write down uppercase, lowercase numbers with punctuation marks, etc. Because somebody will, I promise you, if you make it simple, somebody will figure it out. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Next up, Harry wrote, "What % of your income are you comfortable with spending on fun and other things? I'm great at saving and often find myself feeling guilty for spending." That's a good quality to have. Yeah. And then you wrote, "I'm sure you'll have some wisdom on this. Thanks." Yeah. Oh, it's hard, man. Because what I like to do is I like to buy experiences and not things. So when I go on vacation or I go to Rwanda, which cost me a lot last year to build a school, or when I go to Barcelona or to Italy or to Israel with my family, which I did, which was fun. Everyone's got to go to Israel. It's beautiful. When I do that, it costs money, right? But I feel like I'm buying an experience. I'm not buying a thing. And when you buy experiences, it makes you more worldly, more intelligent, more exposed to the ways of life of different people. And it helps you in all aspects of business because you can connect and bond with people from different countries too. So I like to buy experiences and not things as much. Yeah. So that's how I feel about that stuff. Like I never like to be cheap when it comes to education either. It's always an investment in the future. And I invest in myself as well in my company to the extent that rather than putting tons of money in the bank, whatever, or buying stocks, my first priority is investing in my company. Because I know, humbly, that if I invest $100 in my business, it's going to be worth millions in the long run. And I know that sounded too confident for a humble Canadian, but I think that's how you got to think about it as well when you invest in yourself and your company. The return on investment is going to be off the charts. And of course, not every company you start will be successful. And as Mark Cuban said, you only have to be right in business one time. But invest in yourself through education. Don't be cheap when it comes to buying that book or whatever it is, because it's going to help take your career to the next level. Buy experiences, not things. Oh my God, that was a long answer. Sorry about that. Okay. All right, next up I've got Chris. Hey, Chris, who wrote, I'm from South Africa. Awesome. Awesome. And I just finished listening to the book Born a Crime, which I loved. It was incredible. Trevor Noah is brilliant. Don't read his book. Listen to his audiobooks. His delivery is magical. Yeah. I'm from South Africa, and I would like to know the difference between hedge funds and venture capital. What does each do? And yeah, okay, sure, no problem. Okay. So venture capital basically means investing in private companies. And when venture capitalists invest in private companies, revenue growth is accelerating, okay? And the second revenue growth is positive but starting to decelerate, what happens is the venture capitalists will say, they call up their investment banking buddies at Goldman, et cetera, and say, hey, can you take this company public? And it's true, almost every company that's publicly traded has revenue that's growing but decelerating. And so what happens is investment banks will then take that company, like Facebook when it was private, and they'll make it public. And then once it's public, listed on the stock market, then hedge funds can invest. Okay, so hedge funds, it's basically like buying stocks. It's like a mutual fund. Except hedge funds can not only buy stocks, but they can do the opposite. They can make money when stocks go down. That's called shorting a stock. So they go long stocks, like go long in football, right? That means buying a stock. And they go short stocks, which is the opposite. And it's called a hedge fund because if you think of your backyard, you have a hedge around your backyard protecting your capital. And you hedge your bets. And hedge funds, what they try to do, number one, is preserve capital. Number one. Number two, they try to make money. And they underperform sometimes when the market goes up a lot, but that's okay. Their investors are cool with that, as long as the hedge funds preserve capital when the markets go down. Yeah. Okay. Now, with hedge funds and venture capital, the way they make money is similar. Okay, so they both charge roughly a 2% annual fee. And they both charge a 20% incentive. So what does that mean? So if you invest $100 in a venture capital firm or a hedge fund, every year they take $2 away to pay for, the people they hire, buildings, electricity, travel, etc. Then every dollar you make, they get 20%. So let's say that $100 turns into $200. You're like, wow, I made 100%. Well, you don't get the additional $100 in profit. You get $80 because they keep 20%. It's called 2 and 20. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Okay. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap up this call. I got to get ready for for my 10 a.m. call with my silver students. So I've got a sale going on right now. I'm selling my my silver MBA product, okay, for $4.99. You can go to harounmba.com to check it out. Usually the price is $9.99. There's a 30-day, 100% money back guarantee, so you got nothing to lose, everything to gain. You can binge watch the whole thing, get your money back. I don't care. And then if you're curious about the other programs, and this is new news, I've got the gold version and platinum version. And the next class starts Friday, September 30th, okay? And it's going to be every Friday for 1 year from 9 a.m. till 3 p.m., just one time zone. 6 hours plus Q&A. And if you buy silver, you're guaranteed a spot here with a deduction in fees. So if you pay $4.99, this will only cost you $9.99 or $1,000, whatever it is. Yeah. Okay. So just a reminder, I don't have class next week. I have no class. There are no webcasts next week as I'm going to be on vacation visiting my mommy and daddy in Florida, who I haven't seen in like 8 million years. It'd be great to see them. So God bless y'all. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy. Remember to help others, because when one teaches, two learn. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Click the like button. It helps me, please. And if you're in my silver program, I'll see you in about 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes. And we'll do Zoom together if you want. Otherwise, My vlogs drop every day, I think, at 9 a.m. And I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Take care. God bless you. And I can't wait to come back. Yeah, thank you. And that's how you know you're doing your passion, not a job. You love doing what you're doing when you're on vacation. You miss it. You miss it. Yeah. I love my family too, but I love my job too. Yeah, and my students. You guys are family. All right. All right. Take care, guys. Thank you.